welcome to the first podcast for 2020. As many of you know, we've all kind of been in uncharted territory at the moment. So this podcast and its contributors are being recorded remotely. We're all in isolation from the comforts of our own homes. So I do apologize in advance for any technical difficulties, audio quality issues, loud pets. Please be forgiving. We are working hard to deliver the best that we can manage at this time. So I'd like to introduce my guest for the Pawsey Capital Refresh episode 5. Virtually with me today is Stacey, our project manager for the Capital Refresh. Hello, Stacey. We also have Luke, our data specialist at the Pawsey Supercomputing Centre.
Thanks, Aditi.
Hey. And we have Anne, the Centre's Education and Training Manager.
Hi, all.
So they have all been integral parts of Pawsey's new Nimbus Cloud Service refresh, which was launched on the 1st of April. Stacey, can you tell us more about this procurement?
Yeah, the cloud procurement started early last year and has been delivered by Dell Technologies. It's part of our $70 million capital refresh project and will eventually be supported by the new supercomputer and other infrastructure. Basically, the high throughput computing system, as we're now calling it, provides new facilities for data-intensive science, data analytics, machine learning, and scientific workflows.
Okay, so that sounds quite hardware-intensive. Do we have new hardware specifications for the system? And with it, are we offering any new services? I might throw that one to you, Luke.
So yes, we have brand new kit. So we have 3,700 new cores and 58 terabytes of RAM. And I guess the main one is we have 9 petabytes of raw volume storage. So really we've got more RAM and more storage, which is of great benefit to our researchers.
And so I guess working remotely from Pawsey systems isn't a new thing for our researchers. So what's the network connectivity like on the new Nimbus Cloud service?
Okay, so it has 100 gigabit Ethernet networking. So when you're using Nimbus or cloud compute, it's about having your own instance. It's not about parallel workflows, which is the case for supercomputing.
Okay, so basically this cloud is really enabling researchers to process and analyze larger volumes of data through additional storage. But I think on top of this, we're also providing them with some services like our container orchestrations. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So we have been writing lots of documentation, and Anne might mention this a bit later in the discussion, but you can use Kubernetes on our new cloud. So Kubernetes is all about orchestration, so using lots of instances together. And we do have pre-installed packages such as Docker and Singularity, and a modular style software usage by our Pawsey container tool, Rappi, as well. So a lot of this information is on our website and our documentation.
And I will include a lot of that in this podcast description as well. So you've been talking about instances, and I think Pawsey are calling them flavors. Can you tell us more about the different flavors that we're offering?
So a flavor is the number of cores and amount of RAM that you have for your instance or virtual machine. So they range from 1 core all the way up to 16 core machines.
Okay, and so they can apply for these flavors through our application portal. What kind of duration is each allocation, and how soon can they expect a response from our team?
So our new application portal, which is apply.pawsey.org.au, you get a 6-month allocation. So you can renew that 6-month allocation, but you just won't be given an indefinite amount of time on Nimbus. So it's 6 months per allocation, and you can expect a reply within 1 week.
Okay, so these are applications for new allocations on Nimbus. Can existing users also use Nimbus?
So there is a migration plan, and existing users need to apply through apply.pawsey.org.au. So in terms of our migration plan, we have something called sprints. So this is for users who want some assistance from our cloud team on migrating across. We also have some good documentation on how to do it yourself.
That's right. So I will provide links to all of this documentation and application areas, including the sprints. So right now we have 3 sprints that are available from April to May. We're restricting those sprints to 20 users at a time, but additional sprints will be offered if we need to open that more. So please get in. It's kind of first in, best dressed, but we will keep that under review and make sure that everyone has a fair chance to migrate onto the new systems. So with these systems and changes in the way that they work, we'll be offering some additional support and training as well. So, and what exactly are we offering?
Yeah, thanks, Aditi. So we're offering a number of support and training options. Luke mentioned the Kubernetes orchestration, information on flavors, as well as information on migration. All of that is included in the refreshed documentation that Pawsey offers. So there's some getting started information. There's a new getting started video. There are advanced topics, all of which have been either newly written or refreshed. Likewise, we have some upcoming training that we're pretty excited about during April. We are also going to record that so that individuals who cannot attend can view the recording. And finally, we also have kind of an ongoing support open door called the Pawsey Hour, Ask Me Anything. It is going to be going weekly, every Monday from 10 to 11 Western Standard Time. You can come and literally ask our experts anything that you might have a question about, not only in the Nimbus space, but supercomputing, visualization, any of the resources that we offer at Pawsey.
Thanks, Anne. That's a really great update. And again, these are, like you said, some new initiatives that we are doing, especially to account for everyone working remotely and virtually. So I will include links to all of these sign-up pages, forms, documentation, and application portals as well. Just going back to some of the projects that we have running on Nimbus, we've actually just started a special call for allocations for COVID-19 research. Luke, can you tell our listeners more about this and whether they can still apply if they are working on the COVID-19 virus?
Thanks, Eddie. Yes, so as part of our response, we give priority to COVID-19 researchers. So
awesome. And this is a part of a national call that we're doing with National Computational Infrastructure, NCI, in Canberra as well. So we're sharing resources as well so that we can really support this research. So we've kind of covered the latest milestone that we've had in this capital refresh with the installation and the Nimbus Cloud service going live earlier this month. Stacey, what can we expect to see in the near future?
Well, we've got a lot of things that are ongoing at the moment. We have just started receiving equipment for our MWA compute cluster, so that installation will be occurring through probably to the middle of May. Obviously, there are some unscheduled or previously unscheduled delays that we are having in the current climate, but that is moving forward. And we should start to see migration for that cluster probably in June. We've also just closed the RFQ for some ingest nodes, which will support ASCAP with their science, and that's going through the evaluation process at the moment. So that one is still moving through the procurement process. In the area of long-term storage, which is critical to our overall supercomputing infrastructure, we've just closed in the last week or so a request for information. We've had a really good response to that, and that's being evaluated at the moment, with the hope that later this year we'll be able to go out with an RFQ. And then finally, our supercomputer procurement, the tender for that closed some time ago, and we've been evaluating that for some time now. And that process is going well. It's following along the planned schedule to date. So hopefully the delays overall on that will be minimal as a result of COVID-19 and our adjusted working arrangements, but it's obviously something that we are keeping a very close eye on as well.
Okay, so thank you all for joining me in this podcast. As always, there's a survey linked in the description as well, where I seek your feedback on the content of this podcast, as well as any topics you'd like us to cover in future podcasts as well. And I'd also like to take this chance to thank Stacey and Luke for your time.